extremely, and I mean, but with it being exhibition.
You're a boxer, and you're not taking note Jake Paul is doing. You're worried about criticizing his boxing skills.
And going up against a 200-pound, they just too big.
Boxing
in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from the experience. What we're gonna do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but the boxing is a real sport. Which I am an abundance of, and of which you have none of. Hank is telling anybody that my skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. And who will the bar? No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you. Boxing has never stood its
Boxing
ground.
luminaries are already taking sides when YouTuber turned fighter Jake Paul and pound-for-pound dynamo Gervonta Tank Davis, two of the sport's biggest headline makers, finally enter the ring. Davis has a resume consisting of elite opponents, lightning-fast quickness, and devastating knockouts. Paul, on the other hand, has a reputation for surprising his detractors and is under pressure. Some think Paul's size, reach, and unpredictable nature could result in a surprise upset, while others think Davis's quick reflexes and footwork will seize control. The venue for the bout has formally changed. Jake Paul will now play Gervonta Davis on November 14th at the Casa Center in Miami rather than in Atlanta. The battle is no longer in Atlanta, the MVP declared on Twitter. Miami is being overtaken by Jake Paul versus Gervonta Tank Davis. Same battle, same date, same city. Netflix will stream the game globally. Official sources refer to it as an exhibition, although many people view it as pure entertainment. The enormous size disparity is one of the main discussion points. Paul weighed about 199. 4 pounds as a cruiserweight in his most recent match, but Davis has been competing lately at a weight of roughly 135 pounds. Davis's WBA lightweight belt won't be at stake because of that distinction. Crawford has doubts about the impending Paul versus Davis fight, mostly due to the two fighters' vast size disparity. Comparing it to a sparring session staged to appear like a fight, he views it more as a show than a legitimate match. Although he acknowledges that Davis is a strong, accomplished boxer with a strong resume, he notes that if Paul gains an advantage due to his size and gets a clean hit, things may quickly change. Crawford continues to emphasize that the weight disparity undermines the notion of a fair, balanced battle, and expresses reservations that the bout would adhere to accepted professional norms. Unbeaten and well-respected boxer Shakur Stevenson believes that the Paul versus Davis bout is unfair, particularly for Davis given their obvious size disparity. Nevertheless, he thinks Davis's background, talent, and ring acumen will enable him to easily dominate the battle. Stevenson anticipates that rather than attempting to outmaneuver Paul, Davis will employ footwork, accuracy, and solid basics. He doesn't think Paul can match Davis's speed and brilliance technically, and he believes Davis will seek for a decision victory rather than a knockout. Even though Stevenson calls the fight insulting to boxing and more show than sport, he is certain that Davis is far more skilled than Paul in terms of boxing technique. Daniel Cormier presents a more impartial analysis of the bout. He commends Jake Paul for having the guts to take on a player with Davis's level of skill while acknowledging the danger and possible benefit. But he also highlights how the weight disparity makes the battle appear unfair, making it difficult to consider it fair by conventional boxing standards. Paul is in a precarious position because of Davis's obvious advantage in skill, background, and experience, as Cormier points out. He also thinks about the implications of a loss for both. Paul's reputation might suffer. However, Davis can come under fire for losing to a stronger opponent. Despite this, Cormier acknowledges that Paul's bulk adds an element of unpredictability to the battle.